This is week 3, days 2 and 3 of science for animal and plant adaptations. Remember, for day 2, you do questions 1, 2, and 3, and then for day 3, you do questions 4, 5, and 6. Real fast, I'm going to go through and I'm going to read the questions. It says, why is a giraffe's long tongue an adaptation? What evidence supports the argument that giraffe tongues are protected from sunburns? 3 says, what is an adaptation besides its tongue that helps a giraffe obtain food? Question 4 says, what adaptations does the armadillo have to defend itself? 5 says, what types of adaptations do sloths have to help them survive? And 6 says, what adaptations do echidnas have that helps them find their food? So in order to find the answers to these questions, we are going to have to look in the reading that was given to us. And it says, read about adaptations. Now you'll notice that Miss Luger's put her name and her date at the top, and she's already gone through and she's labeled all of her paragraphs, and I even wrote in subheader here because I need to remind myself that subheaders are going to tell me what it is that I should be learning about. Now Miss Luger's going to go ahead and she's going to read through this once to you, then you should go through and read it once to yourself, and then you're going to read it as many times as you need to in order to find all the answers to these questions. So starting in the box, where it says definitions of plant and animal adaptations. An adaptation is a characteristic of a living thing that helps it survive in its environment. An environment includes everything living and non-living in the area that a plant or animal lives in. All living things have adaptations, even humans. To better understand how adaptations work, let's break it down. So now we're going to learn about animals adapt to their environment. Adaptations is all about survival. When the environment changes dramatically, or that means like really big, some animals die, others move to other locations, and some develop adaptations over generations that help them survive. Sometimes the environment changes dramatically due to a natural disaster, and sometimes it changes over thousands of years. In each case, over many generations, animals may develop new adaptations to help them survive in their new home. Then I'm going to flip the page over, and I'm going to continue reading where I already have all my paragraphs labeled. Animals adapt to protect themselves. Many different animals have adaptations that protect them from predators. Some of these adaptations are behavioral, allowing them to act a certain way to avoid being seen by a predator. For example, sloths move very slowly through the trees, making them hard to spot. Their long, hairy bodies have algae growing on them to blend in with the trees, and algae is a green plant. Some adaptations allow animals to escape, such as lizards with tails that snap off when a predator tries to capture it. Other adaptations make animals difficult to eat, such as an armadillo. This unique animal is covered by armored plates, and it can roll into a tight ball when it feels threatened. Next paragraph or section says, adaptations help animals obtain food. So how are we getting food with our adaptations? So paragraph number 8 says, hummingbirds have long, skinny beaks that help them drink nectar, so that's the sweet stuff from the plant, deep inside of flowers. This special adaptation, plus its ability to hover over flowers, make the hummingbirds very specialized. Since it can use a food source that most other birds cannot get to, it does not need to compete with other birds for food. Other birds have interesting beak adaptations that help them gather food. Pelicans have large pouch-like beaks to scoop up fish. Hawks have hooked-like beaks to rip apart their prey. In all these cases, the special beaks help the animal survive. Then we're going to keep going. So now we've got paragraph 10. Here we're learning that some animals have unique adaptations. So some animals have special adaptations. Some animals, such as giraffes, have more than one unique, so more than one special, adaptation. A giraffe's long neck allows it to reach food sources in the Serengeti region of Africa that other land animals cannot reach. Giraffes also have very long tongues, reaching 16 to 18 inches. They use their tongues as tools to pull leaves from branches. Look carefully at the tip of the giraffe's tongue. The end is darker than the back. So you can even see in this black and white picture that the tongue down here is a little bit darker than it is up here. that protects the tongue from sunburn. Echidna are found in the deserts of Australia and also have unique adaptations, so special adaptations. Their long nose helps them locate food by sensing the electrical movements created by ants and termites. So these are itty-bitty little bugs that live inside the ground, and so he sticks his nose down to locate them, and he can sense their movements. And then they use their long tongues to get into ant and termite mounds. Their large feet are powerful digging tools, which they use to bury themselves underground to keep cool. And then we're going to flip over, and you'll see here that we've got some captions. So captions are just a little piece of writing that explain what's going on in a picture. So here we have plant animal adaptation examples. So now we know these will be examples about how these animals have adaptations. A dog's sense of smell is 1 million times more sensitive than humans. This adaptation allows them to find food and detect territorial markings from other dogs. Some dogs are trained to use their powerful sniffers, so their noses, to aid in search and rescue operations. So if somebody's lost in the woods, these dogs who are trained, they can go through and they can find these people really easily because they can smell them. Here we have a picture of a cat, and it says, a cat's eyes are adapted for nighttime hunting. Cats also have retractable claws used for climbing, hunting, and defending themselves. So this means that their claws can come out, but then they also go back in. The strong legs of deer, so here a picture of deer, help them run up to 30 miles per hour. Speed is an adaptation that animals use to escape from predators. It helps them survive. So then Miss Soger's going to go back and she's going to look at her questions. So the one that I'm going to help you with is number 1. It says, why is a giraffe's long tongue an adaptation? So first what I want to do is I want to make my sentence stem. I'm going to get rid of those yucky question words. So why is, we don't want those. And then we can say a giraffe's long tongue is an adaptation because. So we'll say a giraffe's long tongue is an adaptation because. Okay. And then if you need to, you can always pause the video to get that down. And then Miss Sloger's going to go back in her reading. Now, Miss Sloger could go through in her reading and she could read everything all over again. Or we notice that this says a giraffe's long tongue. Now, remember, in one of those sections, we did talk about giraffes. So I know if I put this down, I didn't talk about it here. That's a picture of bird. And this one talks about sloths. This one talks about hummingbirds. But here, I see that I have a picture of a giraffe and a picture of a giraffe with its tongue sticking out. So here, I think that I'm going to want to look for why is their tongue used as an adaptation. So we'll start right here in paragraph 10. Some animals, such as giraffes, have more than one unique adaptation. A giraffe's long neck allows it to reach food sources in the Serengeti region of Africa that other land animals cannot reach. So we know that that's an adaptation that it has, but it doesn't talk about the tongue yet. Giraffes also have very long tongues. Ooh, this is what I need to know. Reaching 16 to 18 inches. They use their tongues as tools to pull leaves down from the branches. Oh, there we go. So this is why it's an adaptation. So they can use their tongue as a tool to pull leaves down from the branches. So I'm going to write that down because they use their, and then I go back to my reading if I can't remember. They use their tongues as tools. There we go. They use their tongues as tools to do what? They use their tongues as tools to pull leaves from branches. There we go. To pull leaves from branches. And then I hope that you'll find that our next two questions, which are our remaining questions for day 2, should be very easy to find the answers to because they're both talking about giraffes. What evidence supports the argument that giraffe tongues are protected from sunburns? What is an adaptation besides its tongue that helps giraffes obtain food? And I do believe that Miss Solger just read that part to you. So these ones should be pretty easy. So make sure to check in with where the giraffes are. And remember for day 3, for those questions, which we have, what adaptations does the armadillo have to defend itself? What types of adaptations do sloths have to help them survive? What adaptations do echidnas have to help them survive? Look in the article for where this section is. That'll be very helpful for you.